It's okay. Sonja here, you always get it right, surprisingly. All right, I'm gonna talk really quick. I'm a licensed social worker, board member of a related nonprofit. I've lived in Massachusetts for 35 years. Senator Brownsberger and Senate sponsor of this bill was my senator. People here, myself included, are consumer victims who have suffered tremendous damage to their central nervous systems and lives from long-term prescribing. This has practically nothing to do with addiction, which was a blaming tactic used in past opposition. Most long-term patients experience some or all of the following: loss of efficacy with new problems appearing while on the drugs, grueling tapers, sometimes years, or hellish lengthy effects after they've come off, and so-called syndromes like I experienced. I suffered hundreds of symptoms for years after discontinuing Klonopin, which I took as prescribed, that made death seem welcome. And rounding up support for today, 4 people on my personal list did end up suiciding to no longer endure the medical damage they were experiencing. 11 years off, and I still suffer significant cognitive nerve and sleep problems. These issues are caused by central nervous system adaptations that medical authorities have historically not understood or denied. That's slowly changing. Yes, this is unbelievable. Nevertheless, take into consideration the following. In 1979, Senator Kennedy of Massachusetts created a federal committee on benzos, and their final recommendation was to label for short-term use. That never happened. Some drug makers have had small print warnings in their leaflets for years stating that their drugs should not be taken for over 2 to 4 weeks. That did not translate to practice. In response to consumer reports, 3 years ago, the FDA issued a black box warning which mentions withdrawal reactions, stating that they can last 18 months after people come off. We know it can be much longer. 5 years ago, a piece published in a respected psychiatric journal discussed how peer websites created by victims received 250,000 views a month. Individual testimony from the last hearing before this committee has over 10,000 views on YouTube. The patient portion alone, not including experts. You can see that right there. That's you, Chairman Madero, on YouTube with 10,000 views at the past hearing. The informed consent we're seeking is not that much of an ask or difficult to implement. Warn people about likely and torturous effects caused by a product they are given. I would say a no-brainer, but that hits a little too close to home. Corporate America and medical bodies have created this massive consumer rights scandal, and they've clearly shown an inability to self-correct or self-regulate. Therefore, we have lived experience. Therefore, those of us with lived experience are asking elected officials to intervene immediately. I'll wrap up real quick. This bill was first filed in 2016. The longer this committee waits, the more people will needlessly suffer and die. 2 years ago, Colorado quickly passed legislation preventing new long-term prescriptions with rare exceptions. Previous organizational sponsors include MORE, Mental Health Legal Advisors Committee, the National Association of Social Workers. The research and real-world evidence is clear. Most people get worse from consistent long-term prescribing across all domains and face serious risks. People need to be adequately informed. And I'm going to send all members research that backs this up and all the history of this problem that should have been rectified many, many years ago. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Do we have any questions or comments?